This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
The Fan.
Thanks to friends at Unreal, you can restock your wardrobe with Unreal golf apparel this year, just like common. Register to win up to $1,000 in Unreal golf apparel on our contest page. One lucky winner will restock their closet with amazing golf apparel thanks to Unreal. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
The legendary Mark Rosen joins us here in our 651 Carpets Plus studios, the climate-controlled 651 Carpets Plus
you
studios.
guys are walking encyclopedias of music history, you and Oak. I'm impressed. Just the little nuances you guys both know.
Well, I know a little about everything. Is that old saying? I don't go deep on much stuff. I know a little bit about everything.
Music is one ear.
But music, especially music that I grew up with,
right.
that I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of time on Wikipedia. I love Wikipedia.
I do too.
You read about Rick Derringer, for instance, and then all of a sudden Rick Derringer talk about him playing with this artist. You go, I've never heard of that artist. I didn't know he played that. Then you go, the next thing you go down, what do they call it, a rabbit hole? And,
right.
3 hours later, I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I've just spent 3 hours reading about musicians.
I do that with movies that I'm watching, especially older movies, because it's sort of as if to say, if I could go back in time and talk to actor A or actress B and say, this is the way your life is going to turn out. And you're watching them, the Carol Lombards, whatever it might be, Cary Grant. I say you're in the prime of your career. Jimmy Stewart, maybe one of my favorite, if not my favorite all-time actor. And just saying, this is the life you're going to have. And you're 30 years old and you're making It's a Wonderful Life or whatever it is. And I love reading about sometimes even the unknown, the kind of.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. You can find out everything and anything you want to know about that individual.
I do the same thing when I was watching. I was addicted to the Rockford Files for about 9 months, right? Probably about a year.
Right.
Double episode every night. So then you see an actor, and you go,
obscure,
so then and then all of a sudden you Google their name.
Yep.
It pops up. They got a Wikipedia page. Some went on to tremendous careers. Others, sadly, had a part here. Like, for instance,
they didn't even stay in the business.
Lindsay Wagner, who starred as she started as like the $6 Million Woman, the opposite of $6 Million Man, right? She was she was
a superhero,
right. Yeah. So, and she was in a couple of episodes of Rockford Files early in her career.
Well,
those were some of her first roles.
My favorite ones were when I watched, it's usually during New Year's Eve, the Twilight Zone episodes, all of them. I watch the marathon. It seems like every year.
Yeah.
And there's been so many famous actors from Robert Redford to Cliff Roberts.
William Shatner,
the one on the plane.
Yep.
But Agnes Moorehead, the famous
Telly Savalas in The Doll.
Oh God, is that
how good is that
creepy?
one? Yeah.
But yeah, you look back and you look at what was it like for them to take on that role? It was work. Work was work, and I'm sure Rod Serling was able to attract some of the top actors, even at that time, that were maybe they had to hit their the peak of their careers. But it's fascinating to watch a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, you guys are
well. And there was a Lindsay Wagner tidbit from her Wikipedia page. I think it was in hers, but she was talking about working with James Garner, who played Jim Rockford.
Yeah.
And she said she was the only guy I knew that he could. They're getting ready to start, and he's talking and telling stories and making people laugh. And I was like, all right, Jim, we're ready now.
Bam, he hits
take, here we go. Lights, camera, action. He could slip into the character immediately, and as soon as it said cut, he would go back to telling a story again. And she was just amazed by his ability to do that. Because I think most actors have to kind of sit for a second and get in the mood for it. But that just, of course, he was kind of playing himself in that show.
Well,
right?
It kind of was. He's got the dialogue memorized, but
Bionic Woman was the show.
Bionic Woman.
That's what it was.
Yes, Lindsay Wagner
was in Bionic Woman. But that does happen after a while, right? An actor gets so good, they're basically. They're playing a character, but they're just playing themselves, right? They get to be, they're not a character actor anymore. When you get to be Pacino and De Niro, it's just, they're just being themselves. That's just who they are. If that makes any sense.
Later in some of these roles they've taken on, and work is work. And I've never criticized anyone for taking on a job. And you think of the iconic status of those two actors, and you sometimes think they made that movie. Yeah, well, they want to keep working. I mean, who's to tell? I'm still here.
You're still here. Look at you, and you're better at 73 than you were at 43.
Well, you finally got my age right.
Game 5 tonight.
That it is.
It's got to get to 7 if the Wolves have a chance. They're back in OKC. It's you never say never, but this is a tough hill to climb. You got to win 3 in a row.
The odds are there. You can read about them yourself. And both the Wolves and now the Knicks are facing, except the Knicks get to go home. If you want to look at that as an advantage, and I'm sure I saw Mike Conley's interview today, and he talked about how the team, they had a team dinner last night, and they watched the Knicks Pacers game, and. These guys, most of these guys have been around long enough to know. I mean, and I'm sure what Chris Finch is selling today is just, it's all about tonight's game. You can't look at the big picture because you'll drive yourself crazy, number one. And number two, you'll realize how low the odds are of winning this series. But what you have to say to yourself is, the last couple of games, obviously they blew them out here at home, and then they had the back and forth, not playing their best, but they were there right at the end. So they've been competitive with them after the first 2 games. And you just have to simply say, this is a 1-game series right now. We just have to win tonight, and that's it. So, everyone else is laid out pretty much, you understand, and who knows how the complexion of this thing is going to go. It's painfully obvious that Julius Randle needs to show up tonight. I mean, that's a given, and Ant's got to be more aggressive in the first half, and et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of the same old story at this point when you get pretty familiar with your opponent, what they're going to do with Shea, how they're going to handle him, how's the bench going to respond, can they respond the way they did the other night with Dante and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and there's just so many. The subplots are out there when you start playing a series, and I don't know if the home court can mean a lot to OKC when they get rolling. When they turn you over and they turn it into points, it gets really hard to stop that snowball. And that's the thing the Wolves have to avoid tonight by having one of those runs.
Right.
It's a 3-point game, a 4-point game, and all of a sudden it's a 14-point game in a blink of an eye.
During the montage, Tenneby had a soundbite from one of the Wolves players, and I didn't recognize the voice, but said something to the effect of, OKC always gets off, to a really good start at home, like a lot of teams do. And that's what
Jaden McDaniels.
And that's what they're going to have to fend off because they spell blood, right? They know this is it. They're at home, and they're thinking, let's not give the Wolves even a inkling that they can still win this game. Let's go. So, and what McDaniel said is, we got to fend off that early rush. Because that's what OKC is going to do. They're going to try to put the hammer down right away. And
early TKO in the boxing biz.
Yeah, and if they can do that, if they can make it where OKC doesn't go on, it's 20-6, 4 minutes in, then all right, now we've weathered that first early storm, and now maybe we can just trade buckets with them and steal one late in the game.
I think the thing that most Wolves fans are hopeful of is that you avoid what happened, a year ago when they lost in 5 to Dallas, but it was more than that. I mean, to try to at least duplicate the competitive aspect of their game the other night would be nice to see, and not to go quietly into the night, because I think a lot of people, again, OKC's 8 and 9 point favorites tonight. Not to go quietly into the night, to show why they belonged here. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that, OKC, number 1 team in the NBA. They won 68 games. They breezed through pretty much, they had a tough series with Denver, but here they are. I mean, they're we know what kind of the well-oiled machine they are. But the Wolves have to make a good account of themselves, I think, to kind of leave at least fans with a good taste in their mouths. And again, I'm sure OKC, the last thing they want to do is think about, I don't want to go back to
If they lose tonight by 2, that doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth, does it? To lose 5 games in 2 consecutive Western Conference Finals?
But at least they're competitive. Last year, they really weren't competitive against Dallas.
But then isn't that moral victory like?
Yeah,
that's not for me.
I'm not saying, listen,
we set the bar a little higher on this show.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not suggesting that would be a moral victory. I'm just suggesting from a national perspective that if the Wolves lose by 20 or 15 or whatever it is, it's like, well, this team is not any closer to moving the needle than they were a year ago.
I can't worry about what Chuck and the rest of the league say about our club.
And they're going to have changes this offseason. Every team does. Tim Connolly's going to have changes. I mean, I think Naw's going to be gone. I think he's going to be asking for a lot of money. And, this is where the young players...
Is the window shutting? Are you telling me the window is shutting?
No, not at all. No. Not when your star is 23 years old. No. And Randall, no. I think they have... Rob Dillingham may end up being a point guard, the future. They got...
Durantula will be here.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking.
I've heard the Knicks might be...
interested?
In peddling Bodega Cat. No, I'm serious. That's what
Are
I
you
heard.
really?
Yes.
I always love that one. Why would they do that?
Well, maybe the same reason the Wolves did.
Are they happy with them?
Too much money.
Oh, well,
maybe. Could that be the return to Minnesota of Bodega Cat?
No.
We'll break. We'll come back. We got plenty to get to here on the Common Man program with Common Tenney and Mark Rosen here on the Fan.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Send in your tractor talkbacks. KFAN and Sukup Manufacturing bring you Fan on the Farm. Each day through the end of the month, 9 noon, we'll be taking your tractor talkbacks, where one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sukup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get a full list of rules at KFAN.com/farm. Sukup Manufacturing Company, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
Double 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's the legendary Mark Rosen. You like this Vikings club, don't you?
I love the fact that they've on paper, bolstered what was, without a question, their biggest weakness, not just last year, but for a number of years, and that's the offensive line. I think that in itself will make them a better football team. And they went out and spent the money on the right people, guys in the prime of their careers, the center, the guard, getting Darisaw back. I think that...
J.J. McCarthy?
Well...
It's all coming together.
Yeah, I mean, I think the blueprint, really the Lions had the blueprint for a lot of that with their offensive line and their drafting and the way they went about it, just a different way, but they mostly drafted, I think, most of those players. But, yeah, I mean, I think that defensively they helped themselves. We'll see what the cornerback position does. But, yeah, listen, you're not going to have these questions answered. I know they had their volunteer OTAs today, and they had some video of, here's JJ handing the ball off to Aaron Jones. God, he looks good. It's very smooth. I can hardly wait for us to get back out there at the end of July when we're breaking it down. But yeah, of course that's going to be the case. But because of J.J. McCarthy, there's been a lot of shrugging of shoulders by the national media and how people interpret it. I just mentioned to you during the break that ESPN came out with their first, what do they call it? Their power rankings, their FPI, whatever the hell it is, and the NFC.
Where do they have the purple?
Well, the NFC North, shocking. The NFC North did quite well, but shocking that the best chance to win the Super Bowl. Geez, the two teams that played last year, the Eagles and the Chiefs. I mean, it's just, come on, be original. I mean, go out of the box a little bit.
How can you argue with it?
Well, you can by saying, I think Buffalo will get there over Kansas City this year. I mean, but that's the way you can do it. I don't know. They're looking at it. They break it down
just
by
going
position.
how they think.
I understand that, but it's very predictable. And it's the same. It's kind of the same old. But
which two teams do you think, Mark, are going to be in the Super Bowl?
The Bills and the Vikings, of course. It's going to be the 0-4 against the 0-4. That's the dream Super Bowl that everyone's been waiting for.
We have?
Yeah, I think so, because someone's O has got to go. That would be the dream one. Yeah, I'm hopeful that Buffalo will get there. They've been knocking on the door for quite a while. But the NFC North did quite well because three teams in the top 14. And I think that's going to be the general consensus. It was last year, but I think it's gotten even stronger this year with Detroit.
Where do they have Detroit?
5th behind.
That's an insult.
Why?
That's bulletin board material.
Well, they didn't quite get there last year.
That's okay.
Well, I mean,
think out of the box just because they didn't get there last year.
Who are you going to put them ahead of?
Well, who's ahead of them?
Eagles.
They're better than the Eagles.
Chiefs.
They're better than the Chiefs.
Bills.
They're better than the Bills.
Ravens.
And they're better than the Ravens.
Wow. And then they got Commanders behind the Lions.
How can the Commanders be behind the Lions when they throttled them in postseason play?
Well, I don't disagree with that.
I think this whole ESPN thing is a bunch of bunk.
Well, and then you go down the line, and then you get to number 11. That's the Packers, and then the Vikings are 14th after the Broncos. The Broncos,
and after the Packers.
Yes. See, I don't agree with that because of what they've done with their line, and I don't think people are sitting there breaking down what the Vikings did. To that point, I mean, to me, it's all about J.J. McCarthy. People are going to push him down probably a little bit further. I mean, this team went 14-3 with Sam Darnold last year. So, and again, not to suggest that J.J. McCarthy is going to be Patrick Mahomes like, but I think
you like McCarthy a lot.
Well, I know I do. And I think everyone in the league pretty much liked him a lot.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know he's got a lot to prove. Well, you should have your doubts.
I've got my doubts.
And rightfully so. I think everyone does until he plays that game. I mean, he's not a true rookie, but...
Playing at Big House is one thing. Playing at the Horseshoe is another, but playing at the Litter Box and at Curly are completely different things.
What about Soldier Field and the opening night Monday night football?
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's all fun and games when you're playing college football. This is the big time, Mark. Welcome to the big time, young man.
Yeah, and he's had a year to kind of take it all in.
Wait till they start showing those exotic blitz packages to the youngster.
Yeah,
I mean, how will he survive, will he? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? But that's going to be the $1 million. Well, more than that.
None too soon, we'll find out, my friend. None too soon.
Well, I'm not ready to turn the page yet on the Wolves season, but yes, I mean, training camp, OTAs are going on, and the clock starts ticking with training camp not that far away.
Can we put a clock together for when training camp starts?
End of July, the official training camp.
Just got a clock ticking until so.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of training camp. This text messenger from the 651 says, "Will Rosen be wearing a bee suit to training camp?"
Oh, hell yes. But that was 2 years ago.
I know.
Last year,
well, you never know.
The beehive was not there last year. I think we kept them away. There it is. Yep.
3 months, 2 weeks, 38 days.
Yeah. Here we go.
They'll be hitting the blocking sleds and the tackling guns.
There's nothing quite like the excitement of training camp.
Yeah.
But I think with JJ there, when they have those open practices for the public, which is a lot, he'll have every ooh and ah that he has throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, who's already at volunteer camp right now. They've been bonding all the time, whatever that means.
Teneby, there were supposed to have been a couple of news conferences. Did those happen?
Yes, they happened basically right when Oak got done.
Okay.
KOC and Andrew Van Ginkel. I do think J.J. McCarthy is expected to talk soon, so I don't know if you want to skip out of Summer Rosen for that or not. But
let me ask you this. Anybody tweet on what was said by KOC? Sometimes we'll get people that will tweet. Was there anything interesting said? Sometimes these news comments, especially at OTAs, I don't know what we're going to hear during OTAs.
Well, what's he going to say? But so showed up. Everybody's
usually some of the local media that's
you're right.
There will
I have not from the usual.
I haven't seen anything because I think they're
still talking.
They have to have there's a certain time that they can't tweet by.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
That's true. Have not seen anything just yet.
Like they're not allowed to live tweet during practice.
Correct.
Yeah.
So no, nothing yet. I don't think there's going to be anything too earth-shattering. Volunteer camp.
Well, it's not voluntary.
Yeah, it is. This part of it is. It's not mandatory.
Oh, I thought it was mandatory.
No,
organized team activities.
That's different. But this is voluntary. I mean, that's why there was a big hubbub about some of these other players holding out.
Who's not here?
Not here. I'm talking about around the league. Like Stephon Diggs was on a boat.
Our culture doesn't allow it for.
I was going to say, I would hope all of our players are here. If they're not, get off and stay off.
I think all the new acquisitions, the offensive line guys are here. Like I said, JJ has been here all along.
Jets here?
Jets is here. Okay. He's been he's been going to the Wolves games with.
We'll probably find out in a little bit if there wasn't anyone there. But
right,
Addison here. I heard he was late, but he's stomped on.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see. I don't know what. That court case is still, I think, coming up, so I'm not sure how that's all going to flush out. The expectation is that he might face a 3-game suspension, but who knows?
How about this negative text? You ready for this?
Yeah.
Vikings were the only team in the league willing to use a top 10 pick on JJ. It's true. Only team willing to use a top. Nobody else wanted him. They got bypassed.
Well, you could say that about any player that's ever been drafted.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just telling you, there was a lot of quarterbacks available.
Same thing about Pat Mahomes when he went to the Chiefs.
And they all passed on, and now you're comparing.
Well, what
else can you do?
What comparisons are more ridiculous?
All right.
Would you rather have Jared Goff or J.J. McCarthy?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think Goff.
Well, when you say right now, meaning this year and beyond.
Oh, well, I don't know enough about McCarthy yet.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. McCarthy. That's the howitzer hanging from his right shoulder. I'll tell you that.
Someone just sent a text that says, Common, you like your talk show, don't you? And I do. I truly do. I might be the only one, but I do. We'll take our final break.
Already?
It's a fast-paced, controversial Common Man program. We'll break, come back, one more segment to go here on The Fan.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out, but no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
KFAN.
Carboni's Pizzeria wants to fuel your playoff party for Game 5 tonight.
Game 5.
Visit one of their 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
You're getting ripped by text messengers. Yep, they're coming in fast
For
and
what?
furious. This one says, Rosen was all fired up about Ponder. Is he now comparing McCarthy to Goff and wondering about who he would take? Rosen is a complete rube.
Wait. Whoa. Wait, McCarthy? How did Ponder's name ever even slip into the conversation with J.J. McCarthy?
Here's another one. Is Rosen ready to call J.J. McCarthy a Hall of Famer?
No. I've repeated it over and over again. We don't know what we're getting with him. I understand that. I'm just going by the people who I trust, the football people who really like this kid. There's no guarantees about anything. We know the busts that have occurred that are highly drafted quarterbacks in this league. It's not a perfect science, but you better damn well be surrounded by good people and have a good roster around you. And I think the Vikings, knowing the beating that Darnold took last year, especially postseason. The Rams game in particular, but
9
also
sacks,
a lot
NFL
of
playoff tied in NFL
but
playoff.
even as the season went on, I mean, he was under pressure. It's not to suggest that they're going to have this wall that's going to be,
Maginot line. That's what I'm going to start calling him. Minnesota's Maginot line.
I think they've surrounded him with enough talent. I like the Mason kid in the backfield along with Aaron Jones. Obviously, the receivers are elite.
Tennessee, can you look up Maginot line? Maginot, I think.
Viking fans are so funny.
Because PA will run with that.
He will.
He used to do the Minnesota Moving Company.
Right.
Now he'll do Minnesota. The only thing is they were moving backwards all the time. That was the problem. So now Minnesota's Maginot line.
Named after the French Minister of War, André Maginot, is a line of concrete fortifications, obstacles, and weapon installations built by France in the 1930s to deter invasion by Nazi Germany and force them to move around the fortifications.
Well, the
Maginot line.
The NFL loves using, as George Carlin would say, a lot of war terms when they describe things. The bomb, the blitz, the whole 9 yards. It's one of the great bits he ever did between the differences between football and baseball.
Jared Goff's been to a Super Bowl, an NFC Championship game, and won 15 games last year. It's preposterous to even ask if a team would rather have Goff or a rookie QB who has done absolutely nothing in the league so far.
I was just having fun with you.
I don't think you were. I think the people were taking
you
it
ask
seriously.
me. I wasn't suggesting. I didn't say I'd rather have J.J. McCarthy than Jared Goff this year. Obviously, in the long run, I would take my chances with this guy. I think that's what the Vikings are doing. They're looking for their first franchise quarterback since Fran Tarkenton. So that's been a while. I know Dante had a few, good years, but they haven't had a franchise-type quarterback.
Since Sir Francis.
That's it. Truly. And I watched him. I was old enough to watch him play.
George Shaw was pretty good.
George Shaw was not good.
He wasn't?
He started the first game. And then Norm Van Brocklin.
Did we win the first game?
Yeah, because Norm Van Brocklin, being the stubborn SOB that he was.
Did George Shaw win the first game?
No, Fran Tarkenton won the first game.
Yeah, I thought George Shaw was starting.
Tarkenton came out off the bench and helped them win that game.
The Packers were the only team willing to use a first-round pick on Aaron Rodgers. That's what he's he's comparing J.J. McCarthy to Aaron Rodgers. You compared him to Mahomes.
I didn't.
Tennessee compared him to Mahomes.
Just using your own logic against him.
That's all.
And now this email is comparing him to Aaron Rodgers.
Boy, it's going to be a long summer and fall.
Well, wait till you get the Tom Brady text of 6th round. How many teams passed on him 5-6 times?
Right. Yeah. Correct.
You're right.
How about Terry Bradshaw going after A-Rod, about having him stay out of Pittsburgh, his team.
Yeah.
You tell him to chew the bark or something like that?
Chew some bark and go, I don't know what he said.
I know where you'll be at 5:30.
Today?
Yeah.
Okay, where?
Tria Rink. That's where the parade starts, 5:30. Frost Parade. You'll be there, right?
We're coming. Why won't you be there? That's on your way home.
Well, I know it. That's why I know what time it is and where it's at. I do plan to be there, but I'm expecting
you're not going to be there.
I'm expecting you to be there. No. Thought you were big. You were big.
I've been to all the Lynx. I've been to the Lynx parades. They had them at the
all of them?
Mall. I think so because they went right by WCCO television.
By your work.
Oh yeah.
Plus I covered all of them. Yeah, I covered the parades. I mean, I covered and then they went all the way to Target Center, and we did our interviews over there. They had the fire trucks and the convertibles, and went down the mall. And
it was right by where he worked.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's sort of like wanting to introduce listeners to one of your clients because it just happens to be that they office in the same building you do.
If the Timberwolves came back and won the NBA title, I don't think I'd go to the parade. If when the Vikings win the Super Bowl, I'll be at that parade. Is that both Twins parades? But yeah, it's
Parade starts at 5:30 at the Tria rink.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Cross players, coaches, and staffers will walk through 7th place, Rice Park, past the Herb Brooks statue, and into the XL Energy Center. Will you be there for the celebration that starts at 6?
No, I'm not going to be. Going to be there. I think it's wonderful.
You've got to be kidding me.
The arena celebration scheduled to start at 6 p.m. with speeches from GM. What do you mean you wouldn't go by yourself?
Well, I don't want to go by myself. Well, why would I?
Invite a friend.
I'm not working.
Invite a friend.
You and Karin can make a date out of it.
Karin's in Dallas for NFL.
Well, then you have no excuse. You got nothing going on.
Yeah.
I got the Wolves game starting at 7:30.
How about Lawyer Lambert?
Yeah, he's going to drive up from Mille Lacs to come down here.
How do you know? Maybe he would.
I don't think.
How about the Fitness King?
He doesn't.
Why did you invite
What's your reason?
What about Frank and Amelia?
Yeah.
Amelia's not able to at the moment.
There'll be speeches from General Manager Melissa Caruso, Head Coach Kenny Klee. Well, she's the General Manager for now.
Yeah, for now.
That's if the league decides she hasn't done enough for the organization.
Right. Well, it's
Head Coach Kenny Klee and selected and admission's free, right up your alley. You've got everything else for free.
Wait a minute. Oh, who's talking now, Mr.
Fans may take photos with the Walter. You can take pictures with the Walter Cup.
That'd be great.
You can buy arena concessions. You can boogie to a live DJ's tunes and soak up the Victoria's Live until late. You can stay there till 7, and you can be home just in time to watch the game. Opening tap 7:40.
You're correct. I could.
You and Sarah Spain.
Me and Sarah Spain. Well, I think on your way home to Woodbury, you could stop there.
I'm going there.
Well, you might as well be because the traffic's going to still be the same.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed, and you got to be.
It's all right. You always are.
Question for you.
400
For who? Me or him?
Both. Well, probably you more than Common.
All right.
When the Minneapolis Lakers were here, did they ever win back-to-back?
I was too young
the Lynx
to
of their 4 championships, they didn't win back-to-back on any of those, right?
Oh, wow.
Weren't they going every other year?
I thought they had, but you might be right. I thought they did win back-to-back one time, but I might be wrong. The Lakers won a bunch of championships here. I was too young to know. They were awful by the time I was. My dad took me to the first
Lynx
game
went 2011, 2013, 2015, 2017.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't. I thought they won.
Other than maybe Gopher hockey, but of the professional sports, the Frost, the only team in town ever gone back to back.
That's right. That's a good
Unless
point.
your Minneapolis Lakers did it.
I think they probably did, but I don't know. I wasn't. I was a baby then, so I saw him play at the Armory when my dad took me. And then Elgin Baylor was there, and then I remember asking they lost to the Celtics. I said, my dad said, I think they're moving to Los Angeles next year. I said, why? Because they don't know where the games are. They play at the Armory, then the Auditorium, and nobody's going to the games. And then they drafted Jerry West the next year. That sucked.
So,
will you be at the 3-peat parade next year at least for the 3-peat?
You love parades, don't you?
My uncle Laddie, a real name Leonard, served in the United States Marine Corps, the youngest of 9 kids. He's my dad's family.
Yeah.
He's the only child left. The 8 before him have passed away. He used to work at the Minneapolis Athletic Club.
At the athletic club?
Yeah, at the athletic club. He had a pair of sweatpants. They were this like almost like furry white ones with zippers on the leggings, right?
Right.
He said they were Elgin Baylors. They were left behind. So they were kept in the family for years and years and years. I was the last person to have them.
Man.
I said, are we sure these are Elgin Baylor's? They had the number 23
22.
on it. So I looked up, well, that's what I'm saying. So it said the number 23. So I looked up Elgin Baylor's number. He's 22. So my uncle either was pulling my leg, my sweatpant leg, or he didn't realize it. So they weren't Elgin. Who was number 22 on that team? That's the sweatpants. I guess I had them.
No
so
idea.
I thought they were Elgin Baylor's for the longest time because I didn't even think of checking the numbers. I said, I've got Elgin Baylor sweatpants, and then it turned out. It's like when you have a fraud, when you think you have the Shroud of Turin, and it turns out to be with something from
a blanket from a garage sale.
What number was on it?
Number 22.
22 was Elgin Baylor.
What?
Or no, 23. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He was 22.
Yeah, he was 22.
But the number was 20. Was there a number 23 on the Lakers back then? In the Minneapolis Lakers?
Does not look like there was.
Rod Hundley.
So what was
the original Google thing is Ed Califat.
So I had Ed Califat's sweatpants.
Could have been Bud
I think I
Grant's.
finally got rid of them.
Yeah.
Ed Califant. I had his sweatpants for all those times. Just thinking, his sweat was in those sweatpants.
How about that?
And I thought they were Elgin Baylor. We had them forever. And they got to the point where they were starting to get moth bitten.
Then you just toss them away.
Well, but if they were Elgin Baylor's, you don't toss them away.
But they're not.
No, they were, but I thought they were.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
He was quite the player.
Potential buyers of the Minnesota Twins. I'm getting this from Phil Miller, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Potential buyers of the franchise have visited Minneapolis over the past 2-3 weeks to tour Target Field and meet with the Pohlad family and the team's executives. That's a sign that progress is being made toward a sale, according to multiple sources with knowledge of the process. Several parties have shown interest in making an offer, one such source said, and the process is now in the latter stages of due diligence and fact gathering. The source says the sale is a lot closer to the end than to the beginning. I want to ask you, as the source, when did you talk to Phil Miller about this? Because I'm assuming he's talking to you. Because you're as plugged in with that Twins club as anybody.
No, I used to be. Not anymore. No, I'm more Viking oriented now.
Well, yeah, that's for sure.
But I'm not told anything about what the inner workings of what's going on with the Vikings either.
Oh.
But the Twins, that's encouraging to hear that. I think everyone will be anxious to see that sale complete and have the new owners announced, whether they're local or not. It's a long time coming, long enough, and I think it's just.
Have you heard any names?
No, I have not. I did originally, but I have not. I'm not going to start speculating if those names.
I want you to speculate. Throw out some names.
No, I don't. It's not worth it because it means nothing at the moment. But just from a general rule of thumb, even the fans would be very excited to see this thing happen. I mean, you cannot erase the Pohlad name from the connotation associated with it, whether going back to Carl and all the way through Joe. I mean, it's inescapable. Until that happens, it's not that all of a sudden the new owners are going to come in here, whether it be in the summertime, and I don't know how long that process is going to take. And the trading deadline, they're going to spend $300 million on some players. That's not going to happen. But the perception will definitely change, and maybe the timing will be good for them to kind of help. They're getting beat today. I think they did lose today. 120 degrees on the field. They're playing in Tampa Bay.
They lost today?
I think they're getting shut out.
I think I'm done with this club.
Oh, yeah.
Tammy, this question is probably more for you than for me. What's worth more, Ed Califant's sweatpants or Tenevie's used golf shoes? They've both been for sale.
Ed Califant. I've never even heard of that name. Clyde Lovellette.
Ed
Slater
Califant.
Martin.
All those
Baylor,
years I thought
Jim Pollard.
You know how I kept them in a box? I took them from.
The Twins did lose 5-0, by the way.
All right.
Just to confirm.
I took those from Coon Rapids, Forest Lake, to Great Falls, Montana.
My goodness. Thinking it was Elgin Baylor.
Forest Lake again, to Cambridge, Minnesota, to Kemmer, Wyoming, to Huntsville, Texas, from Huntsville, Texas. It was like a long road trip for Ed Califant.
Yeah.
Took them back to Kemmer. All those years, and then finally I found out I thought I had Elgin Baylor sweatpants. I thought that was my retirement fund. Because who wouldn't pay for a shredded pair of Elgin Baylor sweatpants? Somebody would.
Today's fan would have really, really enjoyed watching Elgin Baylor in his prime. He was top 5 player in the league. He was incredible. His body control, and he was, kind of built. I mean, Ant's kind of built like him.
He is?
A little bit, yeah. Elgin was muscular, but very.
He's now comparing Ant to Elgin.
No, I'm saying, physically, I said.
Oh, okay.
I think he's more like Ed Califat myself.
Yeah, I don't even.
That's who I would make the comparison to.
Who that is. Ed Califat.
Why would you say that? You don't. I thought you were a Lakers expert. I thought you would have known.
I'm
Ed
not.
Califat.
No, I remember. I just rattled off a bunch of names, and even going back, I mean, like I said, when Bud Grant was on the team, and that was not his sport. I mean, he was a good basketball player, but he was on some of those championship teams with George Mikan, and Bud had a picture of the Lakers in his office, and he would go down the list and talk about all of them. And this was.
Did he talk about Ed Califat?
I don't think he did, but he didn't mention him by name. But at that time, even Bud said, I'm the only one left in that picture. This was probably like
now, how long has Bud
6
been
years
gone
ago.
now? 2,
oh,
3?
Man. Honestly, I think
it's 2 or 3.
Yeah, it is 2 years. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because they had the tribute year to him on this, during the home games year ago. Well, the Vikings don't do statues. They have not done. They do. Obviously, they have the Ring of Honor, and they honor their players a number of different ways. But that's not.
Do you think you'll ever get a statue?
No. What would I get a statue for?
Well, why wouldn't you? Sid's got one
outside of Marconi.
You could place it right outside the
bump out Sid.
You could place
right
it
next to Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah. Or next to the tree of rink where you'll be tonight at 5:30.
Right next to Herb Brooks. Yeah.
He wouldn't even be able to find his own statue if that's the case.
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting those from people. They say, well, the reason you're not going is you have no idea how to get to St. Paul.
Look, I go along with that comedic sort of bit, but I guarantee you 90% of those people, I've been to St. Paul more than all of them, covering games and going to games. And I love St. Paul, you know that.
Yeah, especially Lower Town.
Lower Town's my favorite. Go through that whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, no, I love that whole area.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to explain them tonight.
I love the Lexi, Hotel Lex. That's where I go with Kessler and his lovely wife, Mim.
I'll try to explain it to the Wild player.
Try to explain it to them.
The Frost players tonight while you're not there.
I'm sure you're going to be speaking to them one-on-one.
Just going to say.
Someone would have to point them out to you.
Where's Rosie? And I'll say he said he wasn't interested.
I'm sure it's the last thing they think about.
Wasn't interested.
Kudos to them. That's all I can say. Very exciting. And they're building a nice feeder program. That's important for those young girls to have role models like that. I say all the right things. I should run for office.
Yeah, you really should.
Is it too late?
Except when you run for office, you have to attend those parades. That's where you see people do your campaign speeches.
I'm aware of that.
Here's another text message. What's worth more, tennis used golf shoes or the Twins franchise? That's a fair question.
I probably spent more money on that shoes than the Pohlads did on their franchise.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Wait, wrong one.
Remember the day when Carl met at the Metrodome? Calvin sold that team. Man, oh man.
Changed everything.
The last family-owned baseball team. That was it.
That was it.
Calvin and his brothers and sister. He was a peach of a guy. What an interesting human being.
So tomorrow at 2:00 or just prior to, a minute or two, will we be talking about a Game 6, or do you think we'll be doing a postmortem?
I would be very surprised if the Wolves won tonight.
I would be too.
But I'm hopeful that you're going to see their best effort. And like I said, I'm excited to watch the game and leave it at that. Listen, you never know when this opportunity is going to come again. It's same thing. Oh, we'll go back again next year. No, you won't. Not necessarily.
Right.
Rosters change. Everything changes. Injuries, everything. So you can't assume anything. So this is another opportunity to keep your head above water and play your best basketball tonight. That's all that matters is tonight. And then hopefully get it back here to Friday. But no, I'm not. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, unless you want to make a bet. No, I don't think they'll win tonight.
Yeah.
How about you and John Creasel in the Program Pastor Invitational tomorrow versus Common and Gorg? You think you're going to win that one?
I do. Yes.
Wow.
Creasel's a very good player.
Oh my gosh. I will say that
I'll see.
Gorg and I had a little magic when we were together that time.
Well, it should be a close one.
We were sort of like Maniago and Worsley were both goalies.
You came up with Cesar Maniago's
Maniago and Worsley was one of the best 1-2 punches in all of hockey. For
the Gumper without his mask.
Yeah.
I still cannot believe that era that he didn't wear a mask. The only
picture probably more famous than you at the World Series as an 11-year-old is with Gumper sprawled out on the ice, knocked unconscious by I think he got hit by a puck. Yeah.
Think about it.
He played without a mask.
Unbelievable. I know. He was a funny guy. I had to interview him a few times, and he was here.
We watched the game today from your condo or from Kowalski's?
Kowalski's. Oh, the Wolves game?
Yeah, because did I say wild?
Practically lived there.
You practically lived there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, I had some great tilapia last night that was put in the air fryer.
You like that? You like that fish, don't you?
Oh, love it.
You're a fish guy.
Yeah, I do.
And you're quite
I
fishy.
don't know what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. But
you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You give your honey a call.
You go to Casetta's in downtown St. Paul, right near the Frost Parade.
Yeah, there you go.
I love Casetta's.
Yeah. Or go to Mickey's Diner. I took Deuce there years ago. He loved it.
How can you not?
That's correct.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow, too.
Yes, sir. Oh, 1:15.
1:15.
Oh, that's right.
Program Passer Invitational.
That's right. Program Passer. And then we'll have you here.
Yes.
Kennedy, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today, as always. Let's do this. Let's meet again here tomorrow at 12 noon. But stick around. Don't touch that dial. Big Ticket JG. They're next year on The Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Little hoop action. Timberwolves superfan KFAN Stan Barrero.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.